And we're live. All right, everybody, welcome to another episode of the Move Mountains podcast. This is your host, Avi Sohi. Before I get into anything today, I just wanted to take a moment to wish you and your families safety. I hope everybody is doing well. And I know these are some strange times, but please do try your best to stay positive and productive with all this time that we have on our hands. That being said, I wanted to take the time that I have today now to essentially build on the first podcast episode that I released. So if you haven't seen it, give it a look. It would mean a lot to me. If you're somebody who's been following Gravity Athletics or just me in general and my journey as an entrepreneur over the last few years, I think you'll enjoy it. Today, I wanted to essentially fill in some of the gaps on the story that I shared and just really reflect on some of the experiences that I've been so blessed to have along my journey so far. And yeah, I want to reflect because the only way we can really prepare for the future is one, by assessing our past and then assessing our present moment. Being able to do those things allows me to kind of like stay motivated and stay positive for what's yet to come. I have big goals in life, and I'm not going to let this situation with COVID-19 get in the way, and that's what this podcast is all about. It's about moving mountains. I want people to have mindsets that are focused on, achieving big goals in life. For a long time in my life, I kept my mind really small, and I used to put myself down a lot. In school, in other aspects of life, I would kind of accept a losing kind of mindset. And things started to really change for me when I was in university. When I realized that, the power of social media, I can use it, I can leverage it, and I can actually create a name for myself. That's when I really got into like personal branding with Instagram. So I have shared some of that in the previous video, but today I wanted to just talk about the origin story for myself and like the name Move Mountains Podcast, like where did this actually come from, So when I look back at things in 2016, 2016 was my was at the end of my university career. I finished university, and right away I was super motivated. I wanted to do a lot of entrepreneurial things. I wanted to travel. I wanted to do so much. I was just like this big ball of energy when I finished university. And I finished, and then that September, the first week of September, when I typically would have been going back to school, I had randomly booked a ticket to go to BC, solo trip, and I had family out there, stayed with them, but essentially I went out there on a mission to just explore and, see what my country had to offer. 4 years prior to that, I was just cooped up in libraries, reading everything I possibly could to excel in my physiology courses and my strength training courses, my anatomy, like all that fun stuff. I was really devoted to my student life and my athletics life, being a rugby player. So now having the opportunity to actually travel and see things was super dope. When I was in BC, I basically rented a car and went to as many different spots as I possibly could. I'm a huge nature lover. And as you can tell by the title of the podcast, Move Mountains Podcast, as I was driving, one day I had this mission to go to Whistler. So I went to Whistler, BC, checked out everything they had to offer. And then they have this gondola that takes you, and if you don't know what a gondola is, it's kind of like how would I describe it? It's like this rectangle box type situation. You go sit inside of it, and it's hooked on this like cable. This cable starts pulling you up, and this is how you can get up to the top of a mountain. So I'm going on this thing, kind of scared. I'm a little scared of heights, but I wanted to go. I wanted to go experience it, so I went. So I'm going up this thing, and then, I get to the first level. So that was like 30 minutes. You're just going up this thing. I get off, start walking around. I'm like, cool. And then I realize there's a separate ski lift. And so, like I said, the gondola is like a protected rectangular type box. A ski lift is like, it's kind of like, it's open. It's like a bench. It's like a bench that's suspended in the air, and there's nothing holding you down really. So if I were to fall out of that while that ski lift is trying to take me to the peak of the mountain, I'd literally die. So I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm already here. Might as well try to go to the peak of the mountain. And man, I was terrified. I got on that ski lift. I'm going up, and I'm like, oh my God, it just seems like the world is going to end, and you can't really see anything above it when you're looking up at the tip of the mountain. That one was around 10 minutes, I believe. So 40 minutes to get to the top of Whistler Mountain. When I'm at the top, it was just such a beautiful sight. I could see like the terrain changing. So if I'm looking down into the valleys and the mountains, you can see that it goes from the snow at the top to this like brown color of dirt, which transitions to greens, and it's such a beautiful sight. I'll share a photo here so you guys can see that as well. But I got to the top, and then I just started thinking about, finishing my degree, already having a business started and knowing the direction that I wanted to go with my life. And that was the day where I just kind of like really started to adopt a move mountains mindset. It was seeing these mountains in real life and how big they are, and feeling like I've already overcame so much in my life. Getting through my undergrad, that was big for me, man. Like, I struggled in a lot of courses, but I grinded to make sure I still had that B+ average and finish, on a positive note for myself. I had no intentions of going anywhere else after school, but I just wanted to make sure I did good. So I would always put that pressure on myself. Because like I said, in the past, when I was a child, I used to just kind of be a pushover and accept losing and not do that well in school. So that was a big challenge for me, and now being in a position where I can travel and be free was just super cool. So yeah, and I just wanted to share this story as one of the first on my podcast journey with you guys. I got lots of stories to tell, and this was just one. There will be more coming in the near future, so please stay tuned. And as always, subscribe, like, comment. If you guys got some feedback, I'd love to hear it. I'm new to the podcast game, so, I'd really appreciate any feedback I can get. And once again, thank you all for tuning in. More to come, guys. Peace.